Hi, okay, so let's get into today's guided confidence exercise, which will be a EFT tapping session. And I'm going to briefly talk to you about what tapping is, what EFT is, and then we're going to use my custom GPT that I've created that helps to generate EFT tapping sessions. So we're going to use that to generate a tapping session, and then I'll show you how to actually do that, so you'll follow along with me. Okay, so let's talk really briefly or quickly about why we're doing this. So you probably have noticed in yourself or recognized that it would be the case for a number of people, that fear of rejection actually is stopping a lot of people from pitching for summits, conferences, podcasts, pitching anything, putting yourself forward for a lot of things. There is a fear of rejection coming into play here. And so what I want to do is to show you a way that you can easily and rapidly move through those negative emotions, beliefs, sensations into a positive state. And that is through EFT. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and most people, well, some people will call it tapping because of the actual motion that you're doing when you're doing tapping, when you're doing EFT. So what happens in tapping is that we're actually tapping on meridian points or acupressure points within our body, and we're repeating to ourselves our negative beliefs or emotions. We're saying those words as we are tapping, and we are also moving through into positive state after the negative rounds. So what happens is it's sort of like a combination between, like, I guess, Chinese medicine and modern psychology, in that you are talking out loud and speaking out loud the feelings that you have, and that in itself can be quite revealing, because a lot of the time these are things that we've kept low in ourselves, that we've kept hidden, and that we're not necessarily as willing to think about. You know, they've been kept down low for a reason. We don't want to really address them. So it's generally something quite subconscious, and at that level that we don't want to sit with it very often. And so the modern psychology part of this is that you're not only thinking them, but you're actually saying them out loud, and that can be quite powerful. Combined with tapping on those meridian points, you are creating this sort of sensation in your body, and particular meridian points have benefits to certain, certain sensations and feelings in our body. So certain points will release negative beliefs and empower other positive beliefs. So I won't go into like a extreme run through of what tapping is about. I want to just give you like that sort of surface level. If you want to know more, I do have a program called Amplify Your Launch, and that workshop includes me explaining in more detail what tapping does for you and how it kind of works. And I also have a couple of resources that I can link as well. So just like an info sheet basically that talks about like each of the different areas that tapping helps within. Okay, so now that you have a bit of an understanding of what's going on, I want to talk through the places that we're actually going to be tapping on. So let me just lower my video just a bit so you can see parts of my body. So whenever we start tapping, we're actually going to be tapping on our karate chop point. So this meaty part of our hand is the karate chop point, and we actually use this as the setup point or setup statement. And we talk about releasing, our feelings. So I'll talk you through that as we go forward, but that's what we do. We start here 3 times. We repeat the kind of like affirmation, and then we move through our body. So the first point that we hit on is just at the corner of our eyebrow. So right here, and we're tapping here. And in terms of tapping, it's just as simple as what you can see. We're just tapping the body lightly, and but enough that you can feel it. So we're not like slamming our hand against our body and like hitting really hard, but we're also not kind of just like tapping really lightly. There needs to be some bodily response. And so you will notice on my body that I'll get like little red marks in the spots that I'm tapping on. Okay, so the first point is here on the corner of the eyebrow, this side of eyebrow near the nose. Then the next one is near our temple, so the side of the eye. Then we have under the eye, so making sure that we're hitting on the bones, not the squishy parts. So the bone here under the eye. Under the nose, so directly in between the nose and the lip. And this little divot. On our chin. Collarbones, where I've actually got a little bit of a red mark already because I'm itchy here for some reason. So you can go both sides of the collarbones. You can go both sides where you can. So here, so basically not on the collarbone, but just below. So there's a spot between the collarbone and your first rib that is where you want to actually press into and hit. When I say hit, I don't mean like hit physically, hit as in the location to touch. And then we're going to go under the arm, so under the armpit on the side here. So again, finding that kind of rib spot and just pressing into that point. And then lastly, the top of our head. So that is the full body sequence that we do. So some people you might have seen tap on certain points. They might add in additional points. There are additional points in the body that you can tap on to release certain emotions. But they're, in terms of what we're doing, they're not necessary because of the ones that we are tapping on release enough of what we are, like they capture enough of the different emotions that we're going to be working through. So that's how tapping works. Let me show you now how we're going to actually build out this session. So what we do is we need to actually measure our level of intensity around the problem that we're addressing. So if we're thinking about our confidence before we actually hit send, before we even put ourselves forward in terms of pitching ourselves to speak at an event of some description, to be part of someone's group program or mastermind as like a guest speaker, putting yourself forward, thinking about how that makes you feel right now. And we're going to measure it from a level of intensity of 0 to 1. So 0 being no problem at all, you could do it every day, any day. And 10 is like you would never do this, it would be ridiculous for you even to consider, and there's a lot of negativity for you around those feelings. So noticing what that measurement is, there's no right or wrong here. It just helps to guide how many rounds we need to work through. And sometimes, as you'll see when I show you how the scripts can be formulated, sometimes you won't shift until you hit on a specific subconscious belief, and then you can see how it's going to reduce down. So if you want to do this at home and really tailor this for yourself, especially without my EFT GPT, then you can simply list out your thoughts in terms of like the negative thoughts that you have, and making sure that you're doing 8 so that we're going across all points. If you need to be prompted to come up with the next thing, what I like to do is, write down a thought and then say, so what? And then you get to the next level. And so we're kind of like going down like levels of like an onion skin. Like each time we're peeling back a layer, right? And generally when we get to that last layer, and oftentimes you can get to that point from up to, when you get to 5 questions, but we're going to go even deeper, then you're going to start to get to the root cause and the real reason. And that can then help you kind of like expand on some of the other beliefs that are coming out for you. Okay, so if you do this at home, make sure you do that. Just note down your thoughts, and you can introduce that in replacement of the, prompts or the limiting beliefs that I have come up with. Now, once you've got the negative beliefs or thoughts, we actually want to reframe. We want to actually implant or embed positive, empowering emotions around how we feel. You can just do the negative belief structure, but I love to end on a positive note and just, give us that beautiful way forward for the day. And that will be where you'll feel even more kind of release as well, because it gives you that kind of positive outlook for the day, right? So let's go through and use my GPT to guide us. So this is actually purchasable separately to the program if you would like to get this yourself. It is currently $147 US for a lifetime access. I will at some point create this as a subscription. So keeping an eye out for that down the track. But yeah, this, if you like the look of this, then you can certainly jump in and get access to it. So as you can see, I've set it up with some guided prompts, but what we're going to do today is give it all of the information up front. So what I will start doing is saying what the problem is and what I need, it's help guiding me through. So let me pause and I'll show you that in just a moment. Okay, so what I've written is I would like your help with releasing negative emotions and beliefs around pitching for a guest speaking role. I feel stressed, apprehensive, I don't believe that I'm the right person for the job, I don't feel confident, I am anxious about hitting send, I feel awkward even approaching the host. There are more qualified people than me. So that is enough for me to actually let the GPT do its work. What I will do is I'll let it do the work, and then we will probably also review the responses and then ask it to go a little bit deeper, because I think what it will probably do is just be a little bit surface, and oftentimes, as I was saying before, that level of intensity, depending on the individual, you might be able to release that quite easily based on just surface level emotions. So for me personally, I don't have too much resistance around doing this to pitch people. Occasionally I will feel a little bit oh, this feels a little bit outside of my depth, but it doesn't take much for me to just get out of my own way. So my level of intensity would probably be a 2 at this, for me personally. So I don't have to do a lot to shift this. However, other people might be at a 10 or a 9 or an 8, and so we need to get to those deeper sensations, those deeper beliefs and feelings in order to release those before we can kind of get to that level 1 or 2 and start to implant positive emotions. Okay, so let's see what it comes up with, and as I said, we'll go from there. All right. So just to give you a bit of a brief understanding of this GPT, it is programmed with my tapping scripts and the way in which I tap, and it, I guess, is basing everything on my format, my formula. There are different ways to tap. Other people teach slightly different versions. It's just how we were taught or how we prefer to move through the tapping sequences. So I just wanted to make that clarification as well. Okay, so we have check your level of intensity. We've got the setup statement, so we've got those 3 points that we're going to tap on karate chop point. And then tapping through the negative emotions, so we're going to be tapping each point based on these things. And we're going to then embed the empowering beliefs. So basically, this is a great starting off point. That's what I was saying before. We have, you know, the negative beliefs and the empowering beliefs. Again, this might be enough for you. But in case that it's not, let's ask it to go a little bit deeper. I'm really happy with what it's sharing already, so I'm feeling stressed. What if I'm not the right person? I don't feel confident at all. I'm anxious about hitting send. I feel awkward even approaching the host. There are more qualified people than me. What if they reject me? I feel stuck and afraid to put myself out there. That's really great, but I think we could go deeper. The empowering beliefs, what if, you know, this is the, like, you're actually better than you think you are kind of statements. So what if I'm more qualified than I realize? I have value to share. I have unique insights that can help others. I am capable and prepared for this opportunity. The right host will recognize my worth. I'm confident in my message. I can do this. I am ready. I trust myself and show up powerfully. Yeah, it's really great. Let's say that the level of intensity is still quite high. Let's say it's 7. So let's pop another prompt in here. This is great, but let's go even deeper and more subconscious beliefs that are coming up for me. I don't feel worthy. Now, you might not know what that is, what these subconscious beliefs are, and the GPT will actually give, you know, its best guess at what's actually going to be the subconscious beliefs. But if you know them, then you can kind of really build off that. So I don't feel worthy. You know, what else was here? I am scared of rejection, and and then, like, beyond the pitch, sometimes we don't pitch because we don't actually feel like we're able to deliver on the thing. So we might feel okay about pitching, but it's like we're projecting forward and saying, but like when I get to the point where I'm actually having to speak on stage, you know, create the presentation, all that sort of stuff, you know, the topic that we want to actually share about, sometimes we think, like, I'm not actually qualified to talk about this. There's more people out there that are more qualified than me. You know, like that sort of stuff comes up, and that actually comes into our pitching elements as well. So what if I freeze on stage, or my presentation doesn't help anyone? So they're a little bit more deep, and so we'll see what comes up for this. Love that you're willing to go deeper. Let's address the subconscious fears at the root so you can step into your confidence and worthiness. Love it. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing again. It's asking us to, so this could be in replacement of the previous statements, it's the previous rounds. So even though I don't feel worthy, I deeply and completely accept myself. I'm scared of rejection, freezing on stage. So if that feels more true to you than this, then replace that with this. So we've got some negative tapping around particular topics. So tapping through deep-seated fears, releasing and shifting the energy. And there we go. Now we have the empowering statement. So this is sometimes this prompt will like give me multiple negatives, but potentially there isn't as much as needed. Again, this is very much tailored to the individual. If you are doing this at home yourself without my GPT to develop this for you, this is really like noticing what's coming through for you. And sometimes you might find that as you're tapping, you go to the next round, you just let things come through. Like, don't even think it, just let it come out. And that will be what's actually going to shift, because it's that subconscious stuff that's being pulled up to the surface that you haven't even acknowledged or realized in the past. That's where the magic comes from. So my recommendation to you is, if you're not following this sequence that I'm preparing for you, then go ahead and pull that stuff up for yourself, and just as you go, tapping, noticing what's coming up and saying it out loud. Don't overthink it, just do. Okay? So let's do just this version. Let's do the more deep version. So what we're going to do is check the level of intensity. So just noticing within yourself, thinking about how you're feeling around the feelings of unworthiness, fear of rejection, performance anxiety. How strong does that feel for you right now? Okay? And we're just noticing that number, not judging it, just thinking about it, so that when we get to the point of our level, this deep-seated fears, you can then know whether you need to continue or you can move on to the positive affirmations. If I had given this GPT guidance that I was at a level 7 still, it would have given me more things to tap through. And so that's kind of like the benefit of doing this. All right, so what we want to do, making sure you have some water with you, have a big drink. It's part of like moving that emotion, that feeling, the stuck energy through your body. The water will help. Okay, let's go. Even though I don't feel worthy of this opportunity, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm scared of rejection, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I fear freezing on stage, or that my presentation won't help anyone, I choose to release this fear and embrace my power. I don't feel worthy of this opportunity. Who am I to be the guest speaker? And noticing, like, who am I to be the guest speaker can be for XYZ person. So make sure if you feel like you want to add in that nuance, please do. So who am I to be the guest speaker for XYZ person? What if they reject me? I don't know if I can handle that kind of rejection today. What if I freeze on stage? What if my message doesn't help anyone? What if I embarrass myself? I feel like I'm not enough for this role. Okay, take a deep breath in and then let it out. So at this point, we need to acknowledge how the level of intensity has shifted for us. As I said before, if we're feeling a little bit higher in that level of intensity, it just means we need to either go through these again or create new, deeper statements for us, what feels true. Because I've given it, this is what I think my subconscious needs from me. And this is why we've got those specific, prompts. But that might not be the case for you, right? And so making sure that you're letting those things come up to the surface, and if you need to, go through another round. If you are at a level 1 or 2, then you will be ready to move through to the next stage. Okay, so we're going to assume that you are, and we're going to shift the energy. Okay. What if I'm more worthy than I think? What if rejection is just a redirection to something better? I know I have something valuable to share. I've been guided to this opportunity for a reason. I trust that the right audience will receive my message. It is safe for me to be seen and heard. I am capable, prepared, and ready to shine. I embrace my worthiness and step into my power. Okay, so just noticing how you're feeling. In most cases, you will feel more empowered, more energized, more excited, and potentially ready to actually hit send on that pitch or start writing the pitch if you were kind of like getting stuck at that point. Potentially even not even putting yourself out there in the first place. Potentially not even, reaching out to someone like in the first place, right? So noticing how you're feeling. If you do need like to go deeper, make sure you do. It's okay if you go, negative here, you get down to a level of 1 or 2, and then you do the positive, affirmations, and they're just not quite enough. It's okay for you to keep going. It's okay for you to bring negative thoughts back into the mix. And to kind of like explore what that looks like and then reset again with your positive affirmations. I want you to think about this as, here are my negative beliefs and here are my reframes, the things that I could believe of myself actually. If I think about like what the negative is, what's the positive flip side of that? So that's how you actually set up your own tapping session. So that is probably enough on this today for you. If you want to finish with this final statement as well, I am worthy, I am prepared, I'm ready, my voice matters, and the right people will resonate with my message. That's just a beautiful way to finish it off, right? Okay, so if you were to use my tapping sequence, you can talk back to this and say, I'm feeling much better now. Thank you. Or I would like your help to find unidentified deeper subconscious beliefs around this, and then just see how it comes, whatever comes through. So this is giving us some journaling exercises for you to help to reflect on, to see what's coming up. I think this is a really cool exercise in itself, so I will leave this here. I'll actually make sure that you can pause this and record that and write them down for you. So utilize this as a journaling prompt if that helps. If you want to go deeper on this, if you want to expand on this again, more than welcome to. Look at your answers. Are there common fears? Could there be deeper blocks holding you back? And then really this is like a back and forth. Like this, treat this like a coach, like you're talking to me about these problems, and we can kind of like explore that, versus booking like a one-to-one session with me, and we have these conversations and we like dig deeper and we figure out what's going on. That's the purpose of this GPT, this custom GPT that I've created. It's to kind of like replace me in the opportunities where I'm not available for you to see me in person or like online or whatever, virtually. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful for you. Please reach out to me if you need any support going through this at any point in time. And yeah, I hope this can help you as a practice. Basically, once you kind of know how to do tapping as a practice, you can then go forth and do this yourself. This GPT and coaching with me for tapping just helps you kind of get below the surface that maybe you're not able to find in yourself. So yeah, here for you if you need me, and I'll see you in the next session. All right, see ya.